They wasn't talking about shit. Hi, Viva. Hi, Chugi. Hi, Mia. I'm shocked y'all are actually still coming back. I tried to go over to Jeremiah's live. They wasn't talking about nothing. Like, let me get out of here. Hi, Ella. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Cara. It was cute but boring. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I gotta go. Bye, guys. Hi, Amina. They wasn't talking about nothing. They wasn't talking about nothing. Car, we went live for about an hour and then we took a field trip to Jeremiah's live. And then I was like, yeah, I'm ready to get off. Hi, Mona. Hi, Miss Latrice. Hi, Heather. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Miss Santhrop. They wasn't saying nothing. No, Jen. We were here first for like an hour. I should have let you go see first. My bad, Amina. My bad. And then we took a field trip to Jeremiah's live. And then I was like, why am I here? And we left. Hi, Amy. It was so boring, Mish. Yeah, Alicia, I was like, bye. No, Jeremiah did his big one at the reunion. He did his big one at the reunion. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He said, I've been talking to my therapist and actually this is what love bombing is. Hi, Tiffany. And I didn't do that shit. And I'm not a scammer. And I was joking. And y'all knew I was joking. Stop playing with me. I think that actually Charlie did his big one too. You know, Ace is exactly what I told y'all. His feelings were hurt. Hi, Lady Aries. Hi, Shanika. I feel like definitely Alandria stood on business when it came to Coco and when it came to Hilga. Hey, we back. We back. We had a little pivot. We had a little Amaya. Can we talk about her talking about their the cheating allegations? Can we talk about that? Because hi Danielle. Because girl, who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? Nobody in here is confused, babes. We definitely talked about it, you know, and I used to be a bartender. I had a lapse in judgment. That's why Andy was on it. What was the lapse in judgment? What was the lapse in judgment? I be for real. I be feeling like if y'all are not gonna talk about what we want to hear y'all talk about, why do y'all think we just want to see y'all? Tiffany, I don't know, but he's pissing me off. Why does Nick keep defending Huda? I don't know, but it's pissing me off. Because of all the things you could have said, one option was to say nothing. Viva, what the one time that he addressed, hi Bobos, the one time that he addressed something about Hilga, it was to say, I mean, I understand like Huda's point, like it was a challenge, hi Pauline, but I also understand the other side of like, you know, it had been 5 weeks, blah, 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 blah. My thing is, why not just say nothing? You said nothing a lot of other times right now. You could have said nothing. And I appreciated Chris being like, I think it's still something different to lick somebody's private parts. Cause and like Shelly said, I was glad that Shelly corrected that with Iris, right? Well, you know, I think that it was just a big misunderstanding and, you know, it was not a communication around boundaries, blah, 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 blah. And Shelly was like, I mean, I don't really feel like I should have to tell you not to lick my man's dick. Like, I don't feel like I should have to say that. Exactly, Jen. Trying to play devil's advocate and Shelly gathered him and Iris real quick. Like, y'all could just shut the fuck up. Actually. If you don't want to speak out, hi boo. If you don't want to speak out, If you don't want to speak out, that's cool, but just don't say anything. Yeah, that was not cool to me. He could have kept that. I was too, K Boogie. I was too. Hence me being back. Y'all like up the live so we could get it out. We could get it out. We could get it out. Nick, he was pissing me off with that. Yeah, somebody did say that Nick is a cool boy, just like how 4 is a cool girl. I'm telling y'all, I say all the time, I'm always willing to let my mind be changed. I'm always willing to let my mind be changed. It doesn't matter how much I like you. It doesn't matter. I'm always willing to allow my mind to be changed with more information. So I've been saying, and I'm going to stand on it, 10 toes down. Last time I checked, I ain't got no toes missing. 10 toes down. I'm going to stand on, I'm waiting for the reunion to pass. The reunion has now passed. And I'm going to wait to see how he moves. And then I can change my mind because I'll have more information. Let me see. There was absolutely nothing going on in that live, Jamila. Had to get out of there. Viva, do you think, okay, Shar, Huda truly disgusted me tonight. I've experienced racist hate too. And to know she saw, exactly, the fact that she knew before they even fucking left Fiji, bitch, I don't want to hear nothing about how you had a bunch of shit going on. You had a whole bunch of shit going on that had nothing to do with being nobody mama and dealing with nothing. Bitch, you could have made a post. Shut up. You got on here to clear up the BBL allegations. You got on here to make it clear you wasn't bullying them little Latina girls at the streamer house. Bitch, you couldn't say nothing? Shut up. Just stand on it. Just say the truth, which is, I recognize that a majority of my fan base are dabbling in misogynoir, and that if I was to say something, I would then lose my fan base, so I don't want to isolate them. Just stand on business, boo. Do I think the clip of Shelly 404 and Nick laughing at Huda gay bullying? Not at all. And she even said that, right? She even said, at some point, she said, you know, my feelings were hurt and maybe bullying was the wrong word. No, not maybe, bitch, it was. And then Brian, oh my God, all of his qualifying words that he was using to Andreina, or no, Brian. Maybe I could have, possibly I should have. And the fact that Andreina was not letting him just say whatever the fuck, she was holding him to it. Yeah. I'm just saying that I don't like the fact that, wait, how do I feel about Nick intervening during the Bella and Jeremiah segment? I don't even remember it. I don't even remember it. What did he say? Austin and Jaden, I feel like I don't give a fuck about what y'all are talking about after the show. No shade, but they were a couple for like 2 seconds in the villa. I don't give a shit what y'all was doing afterwards. I don't care. Can we talk about Coco? What about her? Andy carried. Austin was on something, but you know what? I don't even know, because here's the thing. Austin was acting at the reunion the same way I felt like Austin was acting in the villa. So I just be feeling like all of his shit don't run at the same speed as everybody else's. That's what it gives to me, more than I be thinking he's like on something. I just feel like his cylinders don't fire at the same speed. Yeah. That makes sense, P. His brain just works different because he don't ever seem like he's all the way here. You know what I mean? ZL, watch it. Watch it. You probably gonna be pissed off, but still watch it. Exactly. Honda Civic was not being bullied. Her feelings were just hurt. And her feelings weren't even hurt in the villa. They were hurt from the clips that she watched when she left the villa. Girl, shut up. Let me tell y'all what I didn't like that we saw tonight. As far as like giving us stuff on the clips that they play back. Were y'all expecting Shelly to be the one that said what she said about Hannah? Because a lot of people thought it was 404 being strategic about getting people out that felt like a strong connection to get people out of her way. Let me tell you what I thought in that moment, right? Is that Alandria, I did not like seeing her. Oh, yeah, sorry, ZL. It was Shelly. I did not like seeing Alandria go from the most logical response around the strongest connection should stay to Shelly saying whatever in the fuck she was talking about, because that shit didn't make no sense if we want to keep it a buck. Them being so scared of people getting together and locking in as if people haven't done that on every fucking season. The fact that Alandria was like, yeah, I agree. Why? Stand up. Don't do that. Don't fold just because that's your homie. You know that shit didn't make no goddamn sense. Alandria's reasoning made way more sense. And I'm not even going to lie to y'all. Y'all not going to like this. But it felt strategic on Shelly's part. Because, girl, what? That doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. Viva, they would have been going home regardless had our votes actually been who was going to send people home. But it wasn't, right? They took that from us this season, right? They let that be on them a lot, right? And so, yes, that's what we voted, but it wasn't what was going to happen. It was all based on what they ultimately decided for the bottom three. The reality is Amaya or Iris should have gone home. They didn't have no connections. And I could understand them keeping Iris because she got put into a really fucked up situation because of the way that Hubcap was acting with her. But Amaya should have gone home. And I feel like Amaya got kept because of whatever loyalty they felt like they had to her because of, and I'm going to be honest, because of shit outside of the villa. Because we know that Amaya tried to use that against Shelly. You know me, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And I'll say this too. I thought it was interesting that before Sierra said anything, she said to Shelly, do you have any thoughts? It felt almost like maybe they had already had a conversation. Because why wouldn't you just share your thoughts next? Dobby, it was giving performance. Why are you crying, girl? Do y'all think potentially that Sierra and Shelly were on some we're going to be the top couples? Because the Islanders told us tonight that they were having conversations like this. So this is not a shocker. They were having conversations about who might be together and who they were going to explore and da-da-da-da. Do y'all think that they might have been trying to be the top two? Especially because people have made claims that they think that 404 was trying to be the new PPG with them. With Shelly and Alandria. I don't know. And this goes to one of my mutuals, Tata. She says all the time that people may not want to receive it, but she thinks that potentially Shelly is more, oh, you're here, Tata. That Shelly actually might feel more connected to Sierra. And we're just thinking that she's more connected to Alandria. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, again, it could just be a matter of, like someone else said in here, like, oh, maybe they just voted those two off because, or kept those two because they had the shared experience of not having been able to have connections. But it still is a stupid reason to vote someone off. And so for that to be brought up was already dumb, in my opinion. Because Alandria was right. We should be going for whatever the strongest connection is. Let's not even touch that. And Hilga, I think, definitely agreed initially with that. And then Sierra was like, do you have any thoughts to Shelly? And then Shelly said what she said, and then the whole conversation shifted. I will give Taylor this. He was telling the truth when he said that he led the conversation about Jeremiah going home. It didn't, I don't know if it was like she's being a ringleader or whatever. It still doesn't make any sense to me that that's why you would vote somebody out. Because, oh, it makes me nervous that they are connected to somebody already. Okay, Jamila, I thought the same thing. Jamila said yes, but it seemed like he and Ace had already talked about it as far as like him and Taylor. I literally thought the way that Ace sat back so quiet, I ain't never seen that boy be that damn quiet. Ever. You don't got nothing to say right now? Since when? When has Ace not had something to say? It was giving, he was the talking, he was the mouthpiece, but it was Ace's thoughts. And that's why that didn't make any sense, right, Dobby? Because Sierra came in and went straight for Nick and wasn't exploring anybody else. Why are we even bringing that up about Hannah? It didn't make any sense. Agreed, Jamila. I feel like potentially what happened is they had already had a conversation. And this is why Sierra goes, do you have any thoughts? Because she knew she had some fucking thoughts. Amina said the boys definitely had a top 2/3 alliance, so why wouldn't the girls? Exactly. I don't think that that's that illogical of a thought to think that they were talking about trying to be top couples. And ultimately, it came down to the three that it did because of America. But that's because I think we voted based on. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I think happened. What I think happened with them girls, right, was number one. At that point, Hilga was not in a coupling. And I think we were was that the vote for top girl and top boy, or was it couples? No, it was top girl, top boy. Hilga wasn't in a coupling. Her fans were ramped up because of how she had been running around the Villa acting, right? And people were judging Iris for the way that, not Iris, judging Hannah for the way that she had moved. Because, they love purity culture in the United States, right? So they were judging Hannah. And then Iris and Amaya didn't have connections. And then unfortunately, for top boys, for top boys, I'm pretty sure that people just felt a way about Jeremiah because of what was happening with that girl, right? And then Austin made sense and Pepe made sense. He was new, right? So Pepe was so new that he wasn't going to have like a fan base to be voting for him as top boy at that point in the voting. And then clock it, be happy for life. I mean, Nicole, ultimately that's, hey, her pocketbook, her choice. And people definitely have feelings about that. Be Happy for Life said, after Taylor found someone, Ace and Taylor were ready to get rid of Alandria. Exactly. Exactly. Y'all not gonna like everything. Listen. Yeah, Be Happy for Life. You could tell that Alandria and Nick were like totally not in on whatever was happening. Team Candy always says, how can Ace be so sure that Jeremiah was a love bomber but not Taylor? You know why. Jalen didn't want to come. You know, because he doesn't want to see that, because that's his homie. That's his homie. Why would he admit that? Ace was helping him. Like, you got to go harder. Ace likes to perform his love, right? He likes big, grand gestures. Buck substance. Who said that? I don't see anything regarding HQ or Hilga. I didn't say Ace doesn't have substance. I want y'all to listen to what I said. What I said is he cares about grand gestures more than substance in the relationship. My thoughts are not changed on Shelley's, honestly. Exactly. Dangling the going official announcement. What did you think about Ace, Tata, that you want to know if you were not wrong about? Cozy, you don't know what I'm basing it off of. I think you're new here. Hi, Brandy. It was stressful. It was stressful because it doesn't, again, y'all, thank you. It would take a professional to help them get to the place to get married. Ace was controlling Shelly, and I feel like she moved how he wanted. I don't think Shelly is dumb enough to be controlled. I shouldn't say it like that, because you don't got to be stupid to be controlled. Not Tina Uncut. I don't think you have to be stupid to be controlled. Let me rephrase that. Because what I really mean is, I think that Shelly is a little bit more astute than maybe he even realizes, because he's young in this dating game, right? He's very early to this. And I think that Shelly is a lot more in with like how they're moving as a couple than maybe people think. Yeah, I don't think she can be controlled. Ace and Shelly were going tit for tat. Yeah. I mean, I think it's, y'all know how I felt about after they made up on that dock and she's like, yeah, I'm ready to lock in. And then they still didn't for like days. Y'all knew how I felt about that. Definitely not Brandy. I agree. Her reasoning for Hannah to go home sounded like Ace speaking. It didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me. Ace was quiet because he knew he better not say shit. He knew he better stay on mute about that heart rate challenge. Boy, don't say nothing. Because Shelly strikes me as the type that I'll get in your ass when we get off camera. So don't say nothing. Don't say too much of nothing, homie. Be quiet. Exactly, Brandy. Alandria said, let's base it on strongest couple, and then Shelly disagreed. Like, why? I wouldn't be shocked if there were conversations that happened that we don't know about still. Yeah, I think she definitely be. I think she definitely be in that ass. Y'all saw that boy. I say it all the time. Y'all see that? Y'all saw that man crying for 40 days and 40 nights. And that villa when she was on him about whatever, you know what I mean, about the heart rate challenge, right? We saw the one conversation, but they said they had multiple, and that man was moping around that villa for 40 days and 40 nights until she finally made him breakfast and was like, I'm ready to lock in. And then you know what he did? Made her wait. It's giving, I gotta one up you in some way. So yeah, y'all, hi, I am back. It was a lot. It was a lot, y'all. And I will say this about, because somebody asked me about that conversation between Jamila. Again, I just feel like if they sit down with the professional, they'll either become stronger and able to make it, or they will end it a lot sooner and avoid a bunch of years in heartbreak. But either way, I do think that they should talk to somebody. Antoinette, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm not gonna say what you said out loud, but I will say that that's been my prediction in my head that I just haven't said out loud about that time frame. I think Nick deserves the hate for still following Huda. I personally am giving him, I always said I was going to give him until after the reunion aired. I always said that. And I stand on that. Because I feel like I want to respect that this is your job, not mine. Okay. And I don't know what you feel like you're obligated to, but at some point you do have to make a decision. I've always said that. And I'm not going to stop saying it just because I like Nicolandria. Cookie, we're not getting a post from her. She's never going to make a post. I don't know why they need to keep. I'm actually glad that we didn't get more clips of her terrorizing the villa, because I was already exhausted from her on the show. I didn't need any more at the reunion. And yes, neutrality is complicitness. You are being complicit when you are neutral, period. It shouldn't, and it's not even, y'all, again, going back to this, it's not even about the neutrality is not good for Alandria. He shouldn't be neutral because of he shouldn't be neutral because it shouldn't be okay with you that someone is willing to allow their fan bases to be anti-black racist. That should not be okay with you, regardless of where he is with Alandria. I don't give a fuck if they break up, if they tell us tomorrow, actually, we've been faking the funk of the whole time. I can't stand that motherfucker. Fuck him. Cool. But you still shouldn't be okay with that. Period. I think the same thing about Amaya. I made a whole video about that girl. I feel that way about all of the Islanders that continue to be in a relationship with that girl after listening. Let me calm down. After listening to Alandria say, it's on my page. It's a photo of her and Amaya. Of Huda and Amaya. Her and 22, let me calm down. But it's frustrating. As a black woman, y'all, like on some real shit, that shit is painful. On some real shit. On some real shit. Right? The fact that somebody has a fan base weaponizing anti-black racism against me and you don't give a fuck? You can still sit down and kiki with that motherfucker? You don't give a fuck? Mm-mm. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it speaks to your character. You feel me? It speaks to your character that you can be okay with that. So I feel that, did he just unfollow her? I feel that about all the Islanders. I feel that about all of them. What's the news user? Okay. I said I was going to give him until after the reunion. I said that. I said that. Y'all, because it be hurting my feelings how people be doing, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like you choosing to have to not speak out in defense of people that you don't care about mining labor from us. It's not that you don't expect it. I hope, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I hope that my feelings never stop being hurt. I hope that I never get desensitized. I hope that it always hurts my feelings so that I can remain connected to my humanity. But the fact that you would choose to he's watching Blues Live and unfollowed Huda, as he should. So the fact that you can choose to, I'm going to farm all this labor from you as a Black woman, but not speak out and say anything against the anti-Black racism that I'm experiencing as a result of your fan base, that hurts my feelings. Yeah, they're saying, I guess Blue is live. Is Blue live right now? It's not Earn 22. Again, it's not about me expecting anything different from her. It's about the fact that it doesn't matter. It's still painful as a Black woman to watch someone do it. Blue is a fantastic creator who has amazing insight and thoughts. Thank you, Blue Telusma. They have great breakdowns. So yeah, y'all, it's like, it's painful. You know what I mean? And I hope that that's something I never get desensitized to. I hope that it's always like, damn, that hurts, rather than being like, oh, it's fine. It's just part of my experience. I hope that I never feel like that, honestly. So yeah, I'm glad that he unfollowed. I told y'all, oh no, go watch it. It's going to piss you off, but it's good. Enough. Enough. It's good enough. We're talking about the fact that Nick did unfollow Huda. And I said to y'all, right? I said, just wait until after the reunion. So I'm glad that now that it's aired, it's done. Even if is he really watching her, y'all? They want to know, is he really watching her? Oh, you can't watch it? I'm glad that he did. As you should, Nikisha. As you should. Pauline, again, like, this is, y'all are hearing my take in real time. Y'all are hearing my take in real time. I think that he needs to unfollow, which he did. He needed to unfollow Huda because she literally sat on that platform and basically was like, anti-Black racism is cool, right? Like, well, my bad. I couldn't make a post. I was too busy. I couldn't, whatever the fuck she was talking about, right? I do think Taylor might take more time, but I do think that is coming. Blue is a creator, a Black woman creator. Laced, are you dealing with something, Laced, right now? Why are you in here? agree. I agree, Amina, which is why I've literally already said, right, that I wanted to wait until after the reunion. Because again, I don't know how you feel like you need to move. This is business for you. This is not just your regular life. This is a job in a lot of ways. I don't know if I think that he only spoke out because of what everybody else is saying, but that still wouldn't bother me if so. Because the reality is when you get more information, you should be able to change your mind. Right? I actually appreciate that he's not staying in a state of cognitive dissonance like Hilga's fans do. Like our friend in here right now. Right? You should be able to take in more information and be able to change your mind. Is he on live with her, or she's on live and he's just watching? They're on YouTube. Ella, they would not want me to run for president, baby, because the way my politics is set up, everybody would have a base living wage. We'd be living rent free, mortgage free, college gonna be free, because we got the money. Healthcare gonna be free. Everybody, you get a car, you get healthcare, you get healthcare. Press conferences gonna be daily cuss outs. Now y'all done pissed me off. I done already told you to cut the shit. Ain't no way I can be in a political position. Ain't no way. I saw Tiffany. I heard. Ain't no way. Everybody get a garden. Period. We growing the food out the ground, okay? So yeah, ain't no way. So I'm very glad that he unfollowed her. That was the next right step to make. Thank you, Amina. Will you pin it so that people can see it if they want to go watch her YouTube? She typically does save the live. They're usually on her YouTube channel. Period, P. That's why I got to get out the United States low-key, y'all. Okay. You know what? And that's the hardest part, Leisha, thinking about her legacy, right? Her black daughter that's going to see this, and how will she be cultured into her blackness? How will she feel about herself to know that her mom had nothing to say about anti-black racism being waged against black women when she grows up to be a black woman? I don't think Hilga thinks about anybody but herself, though, so I don't think she has enough foresight around that. She released a statement. Oh, okay, only 2 months too late. Girl, shut the fuck up. Aisha said, so how did no one call out Ace for helping Taylor lead O on? Listen. Listen. What is it, JoJo? It's just too little too late. Yeah. You know what? I will say that I don't think it's performative, Giselle. I think that he got more information and he's allowed to change his mind when he does. But I also have always said that people needed to wait until after the reunion. Oh, thank you, Bunny. I've always said that people needed to wait until after the reunion because, again, this is work for these people, right? Like, to us, this is just like life, but this is work to them. And so I don't want to presume to know thank you, Cha-Cha, what's happening for them work-wise. And so I was always going to wait until after the reunion to draw any conclusions. And I think it's about like them not giving certain things away. Like, I do think that there are some things that they're like obligated to. You know what I mean? She was lying about that. Hi, Reese D. Her saying that she couldn't say anything because Netflix said legally she couldn't say anything. Girl, then why the fuck were y'all on a red carpet? Stop lying. Why are you lying like we're not all in public together? Thank you so much, Shanika. Why are you lying? Oh, did they call her out? Netflix was like, girl, don't put that on us. Another brand deal potentially gone. Thank you. Yeah, Netflix was like, now why am I in it? As if Netflix wasn't gonna come in and correct that shit. Cut it. Not don't at me, I don't know. Netflix put into their bio, don't at me, I don't know. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. To Amina's point, if Nick had unfollowed before, the way that her fans were already throwing so much, it would have just, you know what I mean? So this is a business to them, y'all. Like, yes, this is their life, but this is also their job. Andy was not playing with her. Andy was not playing with her. At all. Not at all. Deasia, what's the tea? Yeah, Kismet, apparently it's in their bio on X. I already knew she was going to claim that because Andy is a Zionist, that's why he was coming at her. It's racism, etc., etc., etc. I literally just like rolled my eyes so hard every time she was talking. Amaya is everything I thought she was. The way I wanted to pop her little lips when she said that was mean. Be quiet. And they didn't go in on her at all. They didn't go in on her at all. Not the way they could have. The people that came the closest was not Andy. It wasn't Andy. They were performative. Listen, I said this on my live before we went and took our field trip. The fact that she was laughing, y'all, that's not remorse. That's not reflection and like, damn, I'm realizing I moved weird. That's, damn, I fucked up. That's not what that was. No, they just gonna find something else to bother everybody about. You know what I mean? She had no remorse. She thought that shit was funny. Hi, XOL, MDC. Listen, y'all. Of course they're gonna complain about Shelly. Erica, we're saying that yes, Ginger. They were saying that Hilga was laughing. She thinks it's funny. She thinks it's a joke. She thinks it's a game. That's not the personality disorder I would say, P. I love that they showed a lot of the moments where she was just being wild. You know what I mean? But I wish that they would have talked directly about. I wish that they would have talked directly about what happened between her and yes, Shayla. That would be the one I would be the most suspicious about. I wish that they had talked more about what happened with her and Chris. And I wish they would have. I mean, he did clock her tea about it, right? Like, oh, I was going to ask how you felt, but you seem to think it's hysterical, right? So like he did name that, but I wish that they had put her feet to the fire a little bit more about it. She was going to continue to try to pivot, but let her do that. Let her go ahead and eat herself up with her words in this moment. And none of the cast wanted to touch it, Biba. And that makes me so upset. I hope that, and this explains, y'all, like I think that Olandria just feels closer to Shelly than anybody else. Nobody else in that room had shit to say about the racist experience that she had with that girl, except her soul sister. So of course she feels close to Shelly. That's who she feels the most supported by. I love that they did that. That they posted them. The NAACP posted Shelly and Olandria regarding the mean girl and aggressive labels. I don't think it's anybody's business, Giselle. Ultimately, and I think that they've been telling us this over and over again. They are not fucking Sims. They don't owe us, connection in our timeline. And what's crazy to me, let me be very fucking clear. What's crazy to me is why there's so much pressure for Nick Olandria to say that they are something when Shelly and Ace dated for 5 weeks and they still are not boyfriend and girlfriend. Why are y'all so upset at Nick Olandria? Because they just want to be able to say it's a PR relationship. At this point, just shut up. Okay, so Jeremiah said that Ace did get dragged for the challenge, but it got cut out. That got edited out of the reunion because he definitely needed to get dragged. Hi, Camilla. So we still didn't get the full heart rate challenge. Child, Tiffany. I'm so glad you got off that shit, boo. And here's the thing. Yeah, I'm not mad at Nick Olandria because, again, I don't know. We need to remember, y'all, that the majority of their dating time has been outside of the villa, unlike some of the other couples. It's been outside of the villa. Oh, yes, I will do that, y'all. I will add Olandria's side eye to Taylor as a subscriber photo that y'all will be able to drop in the chat. I will go and, I haven't yet added Dola. I will go and grab a bunch of screen grabs for y'all to be able to use. Because her side eye was everything. But I will say, oh, can y'all tell K Boogie how to access the extra stickers as a subscriber? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know. I don't. People that I've subscribed to hardly ever go live for me to play with it. But anywho, right? Most of their dating has been outside of the villa, and they've been very booked and busy. So they haven't had the same amount of time together with everybody as everybody else. But we know that they having smecks. So there's a level of closeness there with them where she felt like she's ready to do that. Okay, K Boogie, you found it. So I will say that, again, they don't owe us. A couple reveal. They don't owe us a couple reveal. They don't. As much as we might want it. All I want is for them to get a fucking special when they get married. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to be able to watch it like how I had to watch Portia. I didn't watch actually Portia get married. But you know how the like housewives, they be having their little whole show around them getting married. I know, Ginger. They're so funny for saying that. Um, I don't know, Camilla, but I'm so glad you found it. He didn't take any ownership in his apology. Somebody said earlier it was basically like, damn, here, shit. Since you want it, so damn. K Boogie, he already probably did that, baby. He probably already did that. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Okay, it was you, Shanika. Yes, he called her his dog, Nola girl. Well, yeah, everything he does to Alandria, as far as like trying to make it right, all of that is literally just about maintaining proximity to Nick. Thank you so much, Lambdy. Y'all want to know my final predictions? Like up the live. Give me the 50K and I'll tell you. I'm big shit talking because honestly, y'all can go to my page. There's a whole goddamn video. But I will tell you on the live if you like up the live. Yeah, Clark gave us nothing, but we knew she wouldn't. Rachel, I'm so funny, bro. Double tap the screen, babe. That's how you like it. If you just like double tap on my face. Um, the fact that Zach and wait, you tagged me in post? Beatrice, I don't know. Were they what were they about? Tell me what they were about. Because sometimes my notifications get crazy and then I don't see certain ones anymore. He did unfollow Hilga. If you inbox the post to me though, it will come to my messages and I can watch it there in case I didn't. I thought Grayson actually did, a good job holding her own with Pepe. Even though I thought she let Hilga off a little too easy. I loved that Jeremiah actually defined love bombing for them. And my husband said, Chris said that he wishes that Nick would have actually been like, no, yeah, that's not love bombing. Like he wishes that Nick hadn't been like playful about it, that he had just like actually said like, no, that's not love bombing. Like the truth is the truth. I don't think so, Team Candy, always. I think I've always said that I was waiting until after the reunion because I can understand why they might have to do certain things, move a certain type of way before the reunion came out. Nick was actually very quiet, which I don't understand. So maybe you're right to say that things got cut out. Ace was actually relatively quiet too, except for that. I agree, relatively quiet too, except for really that moment with like him, Jeremiah, and Austin. Okay, the contract expired today, and that's why things are changing. Yeah, I've always said that after the reunion, I thought a lot would change, and so to just give it a minute. Yeah, 11 hours condensed into 2 hours. Yeah, no, Jamila, Ace's feelings were hurt. I told y'all that earlier today, and then he said it, right? My feelings are hurt. And I'll say this. I'll say this to that person's to that person that said, you know, maybe they wanted to let the girls talk or they just edited it out. I could see production because we really only had that one moment where Ace said something to Amaya, right? But other than that, we didn't really see, and like Jeremiah to Huda, Chris said something, but not really necessarily to Huda, to the host about Huda, right? And so it may have been, right, we don't want to give the world any more ammunition about certain people being bullied. And so we're not going to have the men say anything to the women, right? Amazing how they're able to understand how that looks a certain type of way, but not in the reverse. Viva, I don't think it's any different. Personally, I don't think it's any different than what Shelly had already been saying. We listened to them have that conversation. We listened to Hilga say, I'm interested in him. I know you're his number one. I know that he's, you know, wanting to do this. I think it's a great idea. You know, obviously I'll explore him too. You know, I'm interested in him. That she had already been saying that. To me, it wasn't any different than what we had already been hearing. I do think that we got to see what Shelly talked about, right? With like when they were on the dock and she said, I was actually confused as you're bringing this to me. Like it was a lot that a lot to process. We actually did get to see that Shelly actually was weirded out by it and like was saying that. And Hilga was very much pressing it. But again, for me, it was never a confusion as to whether or not she had expressed interest. I do think that she was very clear in that clip. Hilga, I know that you're his number one. I know that he's coming for you, blah, 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 blah. Like she was very clear about that. But then you're crying when he pursues her as his number one and saying you feel like a side chick. So it's still weird that she moved how she moved based on what she said. I think if she had just been like, I'm really interested in him, I think that still would have thrown Shelly off because she was clearly like, whoa, like what? Like, I don't know about that, right? But if she had just said, I like him, and so I want to bring him back. End of discussion. Shelly would have probably felt her way, but she wouldn't have been as caught off guard. Right, Internet. Exactly. Exactly. It was always about you want this more than it's about I'm doing this favor for you. And yes, I also am interested in him. She was very uncomfortable in the conversation. Like that felt obvious to me. And that didn't feel like anything different than what both of them had been saying. And Huda couldn't just be direct. And I think that that was what caused the confusion and the discomfort around everything. Because if you truly knew that she was his number one, why are you crying about it? You know what I mean? Like that was the problem for me always as a viewer. If you knew that, then why are you upset about it? I don't understand. I don't understand. Because I never perceived Shelly as being frustrated that she wanted to explore Chris. It was always the way that she propositioned Shelly about the exploration of Chris. And he gave her a flower and she got none, Birdie Wolf, right? So it was that energy about it. Nikisha, you know, I agree. The OG girls need to hold space for how they allowed her to behave in the name of girlhood. I think also too, you know, y'all have to remember some people are very charming. And I think that they wanted to believe that she was going to change, right? The grace that Nick wanted to give to Jeremiah, they gave unnecessarily to her. User, as far as we know, he did not while they were in the villa. As far as we know. I think the guys found that out tonight. And I mean, obviously people knew about it after they left the villa. Um, yes, sexy garbage, right? Um, but I don't think they knew in I think the only person that knew in the villa was Ace, and I wish that they would have pushed more into that. But I get it, it's only so much that they can like talk about and show us. I hope that they talked about it in general. Yay. Okay, so y'all want my final, y'all actually got us to 50K so I can give my final thoughts about the couples. Our final couples. Yeah, I don't think that she was a mean girl. I just think that she was, and I'll say this, right? I think she was moving with her best interest in mind, which I think is probably how you're supposed to move in the villa. I don't know. I ain't never been in a villa. You know what I mean? Yeah, internet, like Shelly was about Shelly. She was about her experience. You know? Did she really? Honda just made a post about Andy being a Zionist on her story. Are you for real? And she's attempting to use that as a way to further avoid accountability, I'm sure. Ciao. Okay, Jen, that's what you were saying, is that she posted that to her story. I thought it was just HQ doing that. You know, another reason why, yeah, she doesn't actually give a fuck. Because let's keep it a buck. Like you just said, user, so is Alex Cooper. And Two Face funds the redacting of her people overseas. So, girl, you don't actually give a fuck. Cut the shit. They said she deleted it already. She posted and deleted. Dirty delete. It was on IG, but it's gone now, they said. So you don't actually care. And hasn't P. Okay, which couple do y'all want me to start with? Not the most irrelevant. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Taylor and Clark, a lot of Nicolandria, not Bramaya. Stop, Shay, with the jokes. I can't. Start with Tark. Are we shipping them as Tark? Because I hate that name, and that's why I love it so much. Because I accidentally called them Tark one time. And so then it just stuck in my head. Okay, Jamila. Jamila, did you watch my video? Is that why you said that? Jamila, did you watch my video? Yes. Okay. Okay. It's okay, Jamila. It's okay. It's okay. I didn't even give that preview to the public. Okay. Let's start with Tark. Not the lavender couple. Y'all are so petty. Y'all are so petty. Bro. I cannot with y'all. Y'all are so funny. Okay. Okay. Tark. Not hashtag free Clark. Okay, Tark. It's hilarious, Amina. Okay. I feel like they will have a very long-term relationship. I could see them getting engaged or getting married. And I believe that this would happen. Okay, I like that, Nikisha. I could see this non-lie. I'm talking about Tark. And the reason why I believe this is because I do believe that they have like a very strong desire to prove something to us as the public and to themselves. And I will say, I will say, that Viva, sometimes we have hard ass heads that make for soft behinds. I will say, Barry with the fatty. I will say that I do think that they have something to prove to us and to themselves. And I don't know if y'all saw his post, at least from yesterday. His most recent post as of yesterday was, we don't need to be liked. We just need like love, and like we have that with each other or whatever, right? And I'm gonna watch it again, Camilla, because I be trying to just be in the moment. I need to go back and watch all those little pieces. And I believe that he is convincing her, right? But I do believe a little bit that it is for the plot, right? He wants to convince her, nobody believes in us, baby. It's us against them. I choose you. And that just reinforces, for a girl like Clark, who has allowed herself to believe that Taylor is the prize, that she has won. We're proving them they hating on us. They're mad because I picked you, babe, because I just love you so much. Because he already told us a week out of the bill that he was telling her that he loved her. It's giving love bomber. It's giving love bomber. And she's 24. I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's a very quick engagement or quick marriage. User, I've lived in Oklahoma before, and they have ice storms, not just snow. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And so I think that it feeds the pick me, the he's the prize, right? Her friends and family, they would have to think it's something wrong with the behavior. Do they know that? Do they think that? Antoinette, it's giving Southern megachurch pastor and first lady. Clock it. I don't think I know what you mean. Do you think Alandra should realize it's a two-way street and not just only for Huda? I don't think I know what you mean. So that's I could see them doing that. Like, that wouldn't shock me. I do think that they will end up broken up, either broken up as boyfriend and girlfriend or divorced. I don't think they're gonna like be together forever. But I could definitely see them making certain moves, if that makes sense, right? O made a statement. So yeah, I could see them making certain moves, even though I don't see like a long-term successful relationship. As she should. Amaya should get dragged. T, I hope so too. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Nick and Alandria was the next most popular. I've been sick of Amaya. When she was like, when she posted that picture of her and Hilga on FaceTime and was like, bestie, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I unfollowed. I'm cool. I'm cool. Okay, Nicolandria. I've said always that I think that Nick and Alandria have the a recipe for success. Oh, I mean, yeah, true. When she talked crazy to Shelly, that definitely said a lot about her character. And I was clocking her as being like her in the villa. Yeah, so somebody asked me that question earlier about the recipe. So what I will say is they have a very strong foundation of friendship and emotional depth, which matters explicitly because they are, at least when they were coming out of the villa, right? I know that they're planning to both move to LA, but they're not in the same state. They're going to encounter a lot of hard things. Having friendship and emotional depth will allow them to have the space for communication in a way that if they didn't have that would be very, very hard. No, Zio. Well, always, because it's always nuanced, right? So the fact that they are friends, what I see in my most successful couples is when you have friendship, when shit gets hard, because inevitably it will, no matter how long it takes to get hard. If you have friendship, you have a different level of respect and you navigate conflict differently. You're on the same team fighting against the thing rather than fighting against each other. Yes, I can explain that. And so when we're in cahoots as being on the same team, that friendship is going to sustain them when things get challenging. And I see a lot of emotional maturity from the both of them where I don't think they would be afraid to seek out help if they needed it, whether that be from family, loved ones, a therapist, a trusted professional, whoever it would be. I think that they have a lot of emotional maturity where they would not be afraid to do that. Juan, what'd you think, right? And they have family support. Family support matters a lot more than y'all know. You would be shocked probably how many couples I have come into my office and one of the biggest parts of the problem of what's happening is family shit. That's a big one, right? Because you're trying to build this couple and this unit over here. But then if your families are not on the same page, it can be very difficult to navigate. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but it can make it hard. And so the fact that they don't have that as hard will be a benefit to them. I'm trying to see y'all's questions at the same time as I'm answering. What do I think about the difference in their lifestyle? What do you mean the difference in their lifestyle? Do you mean the difference in like their rate, like their culture? Because I don't think that that's necessarily a negative thing. So I think that again, that's like one, I see fewer barriers for them than I see for other couples. And when I'm in a session with a couple who's coming to me for whatever, the things that show up as issues, I don't see as obviously present for Alandria and Nick. Oh, non-lie about him being more like extroverted than she is. I think that's totally fine so long as they balance each other, right? Like I'm like y'all have seen me and Nick, I mean, not me and Nick, me and Chris on lives together. And I'm much more extroverted than Chris is. But we're a good balance to each other. So I help him to, you know, be a little bit more social, and he makes space for me when I just need to like kind of be in my bubble too, you know? So it's like we balance each other. So I don't think that's inherently negative. They just have to find their balance, right? But again, they strike me as very emotionally mature. And I think she's extroverted too. She told us that she was dealing with all that hate. It made her feel very like, ooh, when she first came out. And I think she's getting better about it. About their age difference. So people have asked this question. The reason why I don't feel concerned about their age difference is because he is closer to his frontal lobe being fully developed. He's 24. The 3 years, like 3 years in and of itself, I would probably feel different if they were, you know, 18 and 22 or 18 and 21, I guess that would be, right? But I don't, but because of where their 3 years are, I feel less worried about that. Again, he is closer to that frontal lobe being fully developed. And he comes from a very, it seems, a household where he was really allowed to be himself. So there's going to be a lot of like emotional maturity. There's going to be a lot of like self-confidence, right? So I think that he is seasoned and cultured in a way. He's also well-traveled, right? So he's had a lot of experiences. So even though they have a 3-year difference, I don't think that that feels hard for them. Right? Because a lot of times that 3 years has to do with what experiences have you had in that time that are different. Okay, wait, what are if I'm missing your questions, drop them again so that I can answer. So again, what I see with them are like the family support, the emotional maturity, the friendship, right? The communication. Those are all things that I would say when it gets hard, they would have what they needed in order to deal with it. And then obviously they're attracted to each other, right? Like that piece is there too. And there is a real interest and investment in each other. Do I think that she will resent him for remaining friends with Taylor? I think that if that were to come up, I think that Nick would end the relationship with Taylor. Yes, he did, Shy. There's a real interest in each other. And so I think if she ever got to the place where she was starting to feel that way, I trust that she'd be able to say something. And I think that he would move accordingly. But I honestly, y'all, I honestly think that he's going to begin again. I want us to remember, right? Dad said he loved Ace, not Taylor. And so that means that Dad probably has some feelings about Taylor. And Nick very much respects his dad's opinion. I think the only way, from what we know about her, right? The only way that Alandria would say something is if it got real bad. Dream girl, I'm not even mad at that statement. Hopefully Dad forgets Ace too, right? That doesn't bother me that yes, he unfollowed Hula Hoop. It doesn't bother me that they're not spending a lot of time together. I think, again, it's about intentionality. That's the one thing I talk to my couples about all the time. I haven't yet, but I'm going to. It's always about intentionality, right? So something I tell my couples is, if you only have, a couple of hours on a Saturday, then what you do is you make sure it's intentional, right? So for them, right, this can look like, okay, we're going to get on FaceTime together and watch a movie at the same time. It's just about being intentional with however you're spending your time together so that it feels like connectedness. We're going to cook dinner together on FaceTime, make it like a little date, sending each other cute little, they could do little things like play games where, I'm going to tell you one thing that you don't know about me every day. They're just little things that they could do that could help them to connect even without being in each other's presence all the time. So if you are intentional and you want to, then you will. I think that they all could benefit from individual therapy. If I were her clinician and we were in individual therapy together, they don't need to have no live dates with us, child. If I was Alandria's therapist and we were working together, Um, Honestly, I would probably do some somatic based stuff, which is like body based work in therapy. So I would be drawing her attention a lot to her body and where she feels certain things as we talk about certain things, because I think her throat chakra is real backed up. And I'm real curious about her sacral, not you listening in the shower, her sacral and her solar plexus, around her identity, around, the way that she understands herself and expresses herself. And so we would be talking about things. I do a lot of narrative-based therapy, so I like to go back and tell me where you first learned that. Where's the first time you heard that story? Does that story still fit for you? Does that narrative still align with who you are as a person today and how you want to show up in the world? Yes, I do. I do think that she has people-pleasing tendencies. I think this has to do with the way that we're socialized into womanhood as Black women and the fact that she's the eldest daughter. Thank you so much. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad. So we would definitely be talking about like how, like what, like, okay, so what might be some questions I would ask her? This is like if we were further into therapy, right? I might ask her things like, tell me what would happen if you made a decision for yourself and it had a negative impact on somebody. Because I want to know the story that she has in her head about that. Right? I might ask her something like, tell me what you imagine happens if you spoke up and you said something that somebody didn't like. What might happen to that relationship? How might they respond to that? These are things that I might ask her, right? And then, like I said, really helping her to pay attention to her body. And I do a lot of, like, based on what people say to me, I will draw strings and things for them, right? I'm not accepting new clients, Deasia. So I might say something like, I'm calling you out. Oh, thank you, Rye. Period. What's your licensure in? I'm biased, Danielle. I feel like everybody needs therapy, child. I think it has to do with birth order. As far as why she shows up that way, I think it has to do with birth order and how we are cultured and raised into Black womanhood. If you're curious about that, I do have like really old videos where I like read y'all parts of my thesis. I need to just upload it somewhere at some point. You need to connect strings. Oh, you're a psychologist, period. So I might say things like, for example, a string I might draw for her with like what we saw in the villa, right? So I might say something like, I think I'm going to use Taylor. Okay. I might say something like, yeah, so like what I'm hearing you say is that you wish Taylor had been direct and straightforward about what it was that he was feeling. I wonder, do you always offer that gift to your own self, to be direct and straightforward about what you're feeling? And invite her to sit with, if I struggle to give this to myself, why is it easier for me to see it outside of myself and accept it and expect it from me? But I can't give that to myself. Why can't I honor myself in that way while I'm asking him to honor me in this way? Because a lot of what we accept outside of us has to do with the story that we started within ourselves. So I like to be very curious as a clinician. Because I like to ask questions because I need you to go to that place, and then I'm going to connect it to I wonder what happened when you heard me say that out loud. Where did you notice that in your body? What did it feel like? Okay, let's sit with that while we continue to kind of talk about it, right? Because I'm trying to reconnect you from here, because a lot of us like to be up here, to what's happening in my body, and can I process through whatever that is, right? So that might be some stuff that I would say to her in therapy, and that I would focus on with her in therapy. You're in Georgia. I don't know any therapists in Georgia. I'm only licensed against licensed in Texas and Colorado. So that's where the majority of my network is. Do I think her loyalty could be a problem? No. I think that she just has to find a balance, right? Which is something that I think most people have to work on, because loyalty to other people should not look like abandonment of myself. That shouldn't be a requirement in order for me to be loyal to you. But sometimes that's what we think. Really, Rye, will you inbox me so that we can connect? So I don't think the loyalty is the issue. I think it's finding the balance. Yeah, that's true too, Anne. Oh, I'm so glad, Elisa. Okay, Jen, thank you. I'm so glad. Jeremiah is saying that Nick stood up for Elandria a lot, but it got cut out. Listen. Oh, thank you so much for saying that, Twist of Lines. Listen. The way that they gave them a shitty edit all season, that actually doesn't shock me. That doesn't shock me. Unfortunately. He was on live, Deasia, so maybe he said it on his live. Somebody asked me, and then I'm going to give you all my thoughts about Shalace. Somebody asked me, I mean, why would we think Jer Bear is lying? Do we have, I don't know, do we have a reason to feel like he's a liar? Like, maybe I'm missing something, y'all. Okay, what do I think about people that say that they're self-aware? I think this is not necessarily negative, but as a clinician, it would be something I would pay attention to. Because a lot of times that can be rooted in so it can look a lot of different ways. Okay, it can look a lot of different ways, but a lot of times that can be rooted in the intellectualizing of feelings. I sure do, Anne. It can look like your everything is up here. So you know everything, you see everything, but you don't feel shit. You don't want to feel a motherfucking thing. I just want to think it through, because that helps you to have a sense of control. As a former intellectualizer, okay? So I'm not judging. I'm not judging, right? The other thing that can be happening sometimes when you're self-aware is that you're constantly on this journey of self-improvement, and that has to do with self-worth. Why don't you think you're good enough where you are right now today? Why is there always somewhere else to get to? Something else to fix? So that would be what I would be curious about as a clinician. If you told me I'm really self-aware, those would be the things I'm listening for as your clinician, to see if those show up in the room. Do I see them getting married? I definitely do feel like they have the recipe where they could do that. De'Ara, that's so wild that they're doing that. Why would they do that? I mean, we know why. We know why they would cut it out. But why? Wait, Jen, what am I waiting around? It's been said multiple times that people stood up for Owen the reunion and it was cut out. That's wild. They want to continue to paint a story and paint a picture. Yeah, I did, Jen. I did. Which is why I know that I had that in my video when I gave my predictions. But I was like, I know that he was in an E&M relationship. But I said, I don't know if this was something he tried on and realized it wasn't a good fit for him, because I think it's totally appropriate to try things on. That makes a lot of sense to me, to just try things and then decide it doesn't work. But yeah, I saw that he said that it was the person he was with, it was their idea and that he didn't like it. But I wasn't going to take down the video. I just made another video to clarify. E&M, ethically non-monogamous. I don't know what it meant for him. That's why I just used that big umbrella term. I don't know what that actually meant for him and his person that he was doing it with at the time. And I know, subs, I'm going to make a live for y'all about E&M. Okay. Y'all ready for me to talk about Shalace? Okay. Whew, here we go. Thank y'all for the lives. Thank you for the likes. I'm gonna tell you the truth, Biba. Okay, Shalace, I think, are the next strongest couple. It's okay, Rachel. It's okay. I can take it. I'm gonna tell y'all long term what I think right off the bat. And I'm gonna be so honest with y'all. And I said this in my video, so it's whatever, right? I could see them having a very long, in my mind, 3 to 5 year relationship. I don't think they end up married. Thank you. I don't think they end up married. And that's for a couple of things. And I've said this 1,000 times, but y'all asked me to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it, right? The 5 years that they have between the two of them are at a very fundamental developmental stage in their life. And it's going to matter how they navigate certain things, right? And my biggest thing is that I didn't love the way that Ace navigated certain things. And I attribute that to his age and his inexperience in romantic relationships, because he told us he's never been he's never had a girlfriend, right? So for me, it's not just that it's the 5 years. It's not just that he's 23. It's that he's 23. I watched him struggle with communication. I watched him act like Dora the Explorer, right? And he has a lot. I do perceive Ace as someone that is reflective and willing to grow. And so I think if someone he trusted gave him feedback around this, he would be willing to develop himself. But you're 5 weeks in and this is how you moved with this girl? T, I agree. Misogyny. I think all men are raised to be misogynist because that's the culture that we live in the United States. You have to be parented to not be a misogynist. And he may have been, I don't know. But I think all of us are susceptible to it to an extent. Oh, I just talked about them, Boland. I heard that. No, I wouldn't either, Jen. I think it's all of us. Literally all of us are raised under that. We have to learn, we have to be parented or unlearn on our own as we're older to not embrace those narratives. So it's because of where the 5 years are. It's because of his inexperience in romantic relationships. It's because of how I saw him through communication. It's because of how I saw him act like a little explorer in that villa. And so for me, it's like, it's not giving ready to settle down, even though that's what he's saying. I think that he might mean it. I think he might mean it, that he wants it to be forever. I don't, unless they get some intervention and they get some support around it, I don't see how they actually can long term. Yeah, it's giving and again, and I know people are like, that they're not going to fail. I know none of y'all are saying that, right? But also can we redefine failure? It's not failure just because a relationship doesn't work out. You are going to have plenty of beautiful, life-affirming, developing relationships that are not the person you end up married to, that you love deeply, that you care about. It's not a failure if they don't get married. And so for me, I don't see marriage. I see a nice long-term relationship. And then I do think at some point they hit that block where it's then going to boil down to what do you do when you get there? Do you hit the block and then you go get help and y'all work through it? Or do you hit the block and you realize I'm ready to tap out? Like, what happens? And I don't think it would be a waste of time. I think that he lavishes on her the type of love that she enjoys. I think, you know what I mean? I don't think that would be a waste of her time to allow herself to be treated in this way. Yeah, Amina. So this is the other thing I mentioned, right? Is like that communication piece. It's already, I hear that part, the waste of fertility. We're talking about Shalace user. I will say this too. It is already the emotional labor that gets done in romantic relationships is already disproportionately the obligation of the woman. And so with the fact that, exactly, T, it's already disproportionately on the woman to do the emotional labor. And then the fact that she's the one that's older. And then what I saw in the villa, because I keep taking y'all back to, right, when they had their first really big moment between them, I know they had so many conversations. I get it. But when did we see them actually recover as a couple? Go back and watch it. When did we see his mood actually change? When did we see them get back to themselves? After she made breakfast and they sat on the dock. So after she did this emotional labor. I agree, Anna. Beautifully put. And so that worries me about her level of burnout that might happen. And this is another thing I see with couples a lot. Right? So the fact that she's already older than him, she's already the woman, she's the oldest daughter, she's already predisposed to doing a shit ton of emotional labor for the people in her life. And if he can't rise to the occasion, and so far we haven't seen him do that yet, y'all. Who knows what he's doing now? Right? Who knows? But we didn't get to see it. And that absolutely can lead to emotional fatigue and burnout and resentment. And you get tired. And typically what happens is you'll tell your partner over and over again what you need, and they don't hear you because they feel like you're just not appreciating all the other things they're doing. They get defensive, which is what we saw him do in the villa, right? So this is why I say if they're going to succeed, they definitely need to talk to somebody. And see, that's the thing, right? So Nia is saying Ace seems willing to go above and beyond for her already. I think he wanted to see a return. That's the thing. There is a difference between physical demonstration, performative acts, and emotional labor. They're different. He needs to be able to rise to meet her there. And he is very triggered by that. I didn't expect that to come up again. He was feeling bullied about it though. And so like I will always give Ace his 10s. When his siblings came into that villa and he recognized how he had been voted, he was like, what do I need to do differently? Like, tell me what I need to correct. So I do perceive him as someone that is open to feedback and is open to growth and is open to development. But he has to know that it's something he needs to develop around. If you don't know, then you can't fix it. Yes, Biba, he was calling her out on her hypocrisy. Non-lie, right? So like I don't know that I can foresee like a future without some intervention, without some support. And I still think even then it will be hard. And I don't think that that makes it any less valid or any less beautiful or any less full of love or any less wonderful while they experience it. I don't think there's anything, I don't think it takes away from it at all. Friendship predictions. I think that Alandria and Shelly will always share a bond. I think that Ace is actually more cool on Taylor than we know. I think that Ace is actually pretty cool on most people. Like, I think he and Nick will, like, probably maintain a relationship. I think it will take a lot of work on Nick's part in order for that to happen. I think that Nick and Taylor will probably fizzle a little bit. I think that the majority of them will still share, like, we had this experience and so we're bonded because of that. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of, like, close friendships maintained. Yeah, Jen, I think so too. I think if Nick continues to pursue it, and because Shelly and Alandria are so close, that's what would make it, like, make that relationship happen. You know what I mean? You're welcome. Thank you for asking. No PPG this season, and that's okay. Somebody asked me, do I think Shelly is attracted to 404? I mean, 404 is cute. Everybody on the island is attractive. I don't think that Ace has a problem with Nick Bell. I think that Ace is, you know, this goes back to like what I talk about with his like emotional processing, right? And like his emotional maturity, like his ability to do that, right? Yeah, I did see the reunion. So I think he's feeling hurt in general. Okay, well, without the migration of the filler, she is a cute girl. Y'all so shady. Wait, hold on. I forgot what I was answering. Oh, about Ace. I think he's hurt in general. And because Ace has a hard time doing the actual emotion part, right? Like we heard tonight that his feelings are hurt. I think that he might, in order to protect himself, which is very common, this is not just about Ace, right? This is very common. He will just go into protective mode, and that might look like shutting out everybody while he deals with his emotions internally on his own, because he doesn't feel like anybody else is going to make space for that or can hold it. And I don't presume to know anything about how he was raised, okay? But I will say that as a child that was the child of a single mom who was doing a lot of commuting back and forth for school, he may have spent a lot of time alone. And he may have spent a lot of time tending to his own emotions. And so his default might be, I need to retreat and be alone by myself with my emotions. And that might create distance in these relationships in this time until he can work through that hurt. You know what, Adatola? Because people that struggle with this, it doesn't matter how much you know people love you or are there for you. You feel like a burden in some ways, and you feel like people don't actually give a fuck. I just need to deal with this on my own. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't trust you. It's like I just feel like I need to work this out on my own. Yeah, it's a very common thing. Like this is not, and again, I don't even know if like that's what, but that could be happening. I do know that he is very hurt, and I think he could be. There you go, Ty. I ditched a whole friend group senior year of college because I needed to process my hurt. A lot of people respond that way. And so he might just, yeah, he's in his head. He wants to be on his own. He wants to work it out on his own. Right? And I agree, Camilla. It was the fact that, like he said, y'all knew my character and y'all came out here and y'all fed into that. Instead of being like, actually, no, that's not how I experienced him. Now, Jeremiah did stand on business and he was like, no, but that is how I experienced you. And that's why I said it. Hold on. Most men with lines tatted on them see themselves as leaders, but also loners because of it. I didn't know that, Jen. Nick, fresh out of the villa, made a joke about that height, and you know he's sensitive. And it's gonna be on Ace to be able to share. Like, dude, that actually hurts my fucking feelings. Stop saying that. Austin is really he's gross. He skated by in that villa, and somebody else should have been able to have that. I think that if yes, to Cha Cha's point, his public image is important to him and he probably wants to distance himself from Love Island. I think that if he maintains those friendships, we probably won't even know about it. Like, it probably won't be public knowledge. Like, I don't think he cares to keep feeding that. Apparently, I guess they're saying that Austin is neurodivergent, so I think his brain just doesn't work in the same way as everybody else is, and that's why he be moving in slow motion sometimes. So yeah. No, it's okay. You didn't know that. We all get more information, and again, we just change our mind, right? And it was a very long day. It was a very long day. Yeah, I think again, it's like there's this bond that they're always going to have, even if they don't maintain like close friendships. I think the Casa boys will probably be locked in for life. Um, because they have just like, I mean, except Elan, he ain't really fucking with nobody except maybe Zach with a C. So Brian was so child. They're freaking they're freaking like Elan was like, all right, y'all, I got an actual job. Brian basically on the reunion telling us he ain't got no damn job. Hi, Mila J. He ain't got no job. Was crazy. Hi, Barry with the fatty. He said, I told them that it was an emergency and I needed a day off, and then I just didn't go back, so I knew I was coming back to no job. Good morning, Annabelle. Like, yeah. That's why you was like, burst on bubble number one, Amaya, lock it in. The fact that they performed so fucking hard and Amaya was just trying to like, "Oh, this is just so ridiculous. It's just, girl, it's not. Shut up. We know. And you know. Stop playing. Stop playing, girl. You know, like we know. What I thought was most interesting, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Olandria and Nick sit on the front row like almost the entire reunion? But their winners did not? They know. They know who the show is, okay? Brian, if they don't, they just kept telling that truffle fucking pasta story. Truffle pasta and her mama shedding a tear. I mean, his mama shedding a tear. It was so funny because when they asked them, they were like, "Oh, Amaya, you're in New York, and Brian, you're in Boston. So how is that working? You know, when like doing the long distance thing?" And they were like, "It was working great." And I told my, it was all a lie, Carly Red. Y'all funny. I said, "Yeah, it's working perfectly because they're not fucking doing it. It's working great because we ain't doing this shit." Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Tay, I said his mama shed a tear because when she left, she was like, "Yeah, that's it. They done." Camilla, the way that she is working so hard for another memeable one-liner. I just want her to stop. I just want her to stop. She is actually what we thought she was. They were the real scammers this season. Now I know that people I know that people want to believe that he was only scamming on her. I don't think that girl is dumb. I don't think she's stupid. I think she wanted to like him. I think she wanted it to be something, but I don't think she's dumb. Yeah, she's gonna play heartbroken because again, this is the character that she played for us in the Villa too, right? She was our perfect underdog victim for America, which is why a lot of people loved her and voted for her. And she's gonna continue to play the part that she knows wins for her. And I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I've said it before. I get it. Playing dumb is definitely a tactic that is effective and it works. As a former, I would play dumb with boys person. I don't know what you mean. Like, yeah, the fuck I do. Of course I do. But I'm gonna pretend like I'm stupid. Cause now you think I'm ditzy, so now I got the upper hand. Viva, I think it's a skill. It's a skill. It's disarming to people. And it's manipulative. It is. It's a manipulation tactic, whether you're doing it on purpose or not. It's not always on purpose. But you do know that you are crafting that situation to be what you want it to be by disarming. I am gonna watch Love Island Games with my husband. He wants to watch the whole thing, he said. And the reason why Viva she aligns herself with Honda is because she is Honda. She sees herself in her. She said it herself. In the video that I made, she said it herself. Two peas in a pod. I want us to just start taking people at their word. The only difference between Honda and Amaya is that Amaya will come back and apologize and then moves to the next person to do it. So she doesn't repeat the behavior with the same person. She goes to the next person to do it. And then people have short-term fucking memory. So they be like, "Oh, she changed. She doesn't act like that with them anymore." Yeah, because she's on to the next victim. I mean, the reality is, I don't think that their friendship is real. I think that Amaya feels empathy for her the same way Amaya wanted people to feel empathy for, right? Like they feel like she sympathizes with her the same way she wanted that sympathy. But I don't think that they have like a real, at some point it's going to get played out. Clock it, Cha-Cha. Do I think season 7 contestants will be on Love Island games? I don't know, honestly. I think a lot of them might be super traumatized from the season and may not want to go back. And I get that. I think the only people that we would see come back, honestly, are like probably like Casa people. Well, Chris needs somewhere to live, Violet. Maybe Charlie. Brian would go too, because Brian ain't got no job. So what he about to be doing? Yeah, you right, Jen. Nick does need somewhere to live, but Nick also is getting enough of a check where he can find one. All the homosexuals will be back in the villa. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I feel like y'all did too much on JD. I ain't even gonna lie. I feel like y'all did too much on JD, and I want JD to come back. He's like, I want him to come be dominant. I like Mr. Dominant. I think he's sweet. I think he's funny. He's corny as fuck, but that's okay. Hey, everybody is for somebody. You feel me? Everybody is for somebody. I like it. I like it. You know, he's corny as hell, but that's okay. He only 21. Of course he's corny. Oh, does he get red pill? You know, I don't watch him outside of the villa much. Only a little bit. Not that Haitian that claimed he was Puerto Rican. Yeah, he was only 21, Ivy, when he was in the villa. I heard it, Kimberly. I heard it. That he stood up for her, but production cut it out. Who else? Hey, it's a hard knock life. You feel me? It's a hard knock life. Am I sure that he's 21? That's what he said. Do y'all still have the app, or y'all need me to go? Or y'all want me to go into the app and look? Y'all got the app, or you want me to go to the app? Charlie could definitely go. JD was 21 when he was in the villa. I don't know how old he is now. I don't know when his birthday is, but they were very young, Ashley. Like at this point, it can't be nothing other than like we're just trying to make boyfriends and girlfriends and like a little summer fun. You know what I mean? Because at 21, 22, 20, like we can't be expecting these are going to be like lifelong love stories. We can't possibly. I don't know if I think that, wait, who is Camilla? Stop, Violet. You're hilarious. I think Charlie could go. Has anybody confirmed? Are y'all saying that Chris said he is going? No, he's not Puerto Rican, Elisa. Apparently, he just lives in Puerto Rico or lived in Puerto Rico. So when they were like, well, where are you from? And he's like, Puerto Rico. And he tried to like use it as a loophole when he knew what the fuck they meant. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, we get to see more of his emotional unavailability and avoidance. That'll be fun. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I knew that about Charlie. That's why I don't follow Charlie. I don't follow Austin. I don't do TJ. I didn't know that about JD. That actually explains why y'all said what y'all said about giving red pill. Oh, did she, Ivy? They need to go ahead and actually give it a shot outside of the villa without everybody's opinions in it. Alexandra, I feel like she acted exactly how I expected her to act. Hi, Deshaun, boo. Camilla, the people that I follow Nick, I follow Alandria, I follow Ace, I follow Shelly, I follow Andreina and Pepe. I think those are the people that I followed across like different platforms. Like some are on TikTok, some are on Instagram, some are on Snapchat. So they're like in different places. Yes, Iris and Hannah were on Jeremiah's live. Y'all know I be having to be in a business because y'all be asking me questions. I gotta follow them. I don't typically follow anybody. I don't follow anybody. I didn't follow none of season 6. I don't follow nobody. But this season, I'm like, oh shit, they be putting shit out. I gotta see it so I can tell y'all about it. Cha-Cha, please. Honda says she completed her 30-day healing program. Ciao. Ciao. The way that she needed to really go on like a retreat. Now she's born again. Y'all. Andy was cackling at her. Wait, user, who's giving Kenny? Brian? Not Kenny started posting Bible verses. The way that you got to be careful with these men, y'all. I'm gonna have to. So now that everything is out, everything is done. I have been thinking that I might make a video about, okay, the reasons that I thought these couples wouldn't last. What were the things that I noticed in the men? But y'all have to be careful how sometimes they will use religion as a way to manipulate. Have y'all seen the I don't know if y'all have seen this before, but there was like a couple where this Christian man was basically talking about how he wasn't attracted to his wife. He was cheating on her. She basically wasn't. He's saying all this shit in her face, and she's acting like it's her testimony to have endured all this and be with her man. Because what God has put together, let no man put asunder. Girl, was that God or your vagina? Child. In hell. Yes, I think it was the Dear Wifey podcast, Shanika. Child, they be a mess. But yeah, I might make some videos like that about like what are the things that they're doing that you could be looking for. And I mean, honestly, y'all, a lot of what it boils down to is when you notice that feeling in your body, stop fucking ignoring it. Don't ignore it. You felt it for a reason, and it's about relearning trust of yourself. Y'all be low key like, and I'm not above this. Thank you, Cha Cha. We gaslight our own selves. We be like, no, maybe I'm tripping. Am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. You not tripping, boo. Thank you, Barry with the fatty. You're not tripping. You felt that for a reason. Wait, vote for her for what? Clock it, Violet. Okay, yeah, y'all. So, okay, I'm definitely going to watch the podcast. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Y'all go vote for our girlie if you have the app. I'm definitely gonna watch the podcast with Alandria, and then I'm gonna watch that podcast with Taylor and Nick. Y'all, I'm taking one for the team. And then I will make some videos and post some thoughts about it. Yes, so Amina, good question. I was supposed to go live with the Connection Queen, but she ended up getting banned because she was streaming the copyrighted material on both her primary and her backup. So we're gonna schedule a live for Thursday instead. So I will be live with her on Thursday. And I will tell y'all this, those of y'all are getting the inside scoop. Y'all are getting the inside scoop. I have learned that going live every day is a lot of fucking work, and I cannot do it, okay? I appreciate y'all's votes of faith. I cannot actually do it. I know it's Zenobia, and the way Nick was like, no. Y'all, we got to recognize our limits, okay? And I have learned mine. Okay? Yes, I'm going to do my Wednesday, Friday, Sunday schedule. Okay, y'all, he said it's in one of the clips, actually. Child, Amina, don't do me. I knew there's someone with ADHD, and I was like, now why did she agree to this and on a schedule? Child. I was like, hold on. Wait. 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 Damn, what was I about to tell y'all? See, that's that ADHD. I'm about to take my ass to bed, y'all. It's been fun. I am going to watch the reunion again too, and I will make a video about that for sure. Oh, that's what I was gonna tell you. Don't forget that you have access to the form. Be sure to ask your questions in the form so that we can answer them for y'all on Sundays, okay? Oh, non-live. But you know what it is though, non-live, is what I'm realizing is that when I go live every day, I have a harder time producing content for y'all too. So it's easier for me to like make sure I'm getting you actual videos and content when I'm not also going live every day. So I'll still be posting videos and content, but I'll just only be doing lives on Wednesday, Fridays, and Sundays. Okay, if y'all have the app, go vote for your girl Alandria as MVP of the season, or whoever your person is. I know, non-lie. I know. I go live on one of your therapy days. That's funny, Amina. Y'all have a good night too. Good night, good night, good night. I will see y'all again on, what's today, y'all? Monday? On Wednesday. Bye. Good night.